Guten Morgen and welcome to another episode of the Coffee Q&A. I'm Jay, your host. Welcome back to the show. It's now Thursday, March 28th. Moist Toenails, what's going on, man? How are you today? Good to see you. All right, I got a question. What is the deal behind your channel name? I was like, I saw that when you came on yesterday. I was like, what's up with that name? Anyway, but couldn't talk too much about that because I was busy roasting. But today, welcome back to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about the Origami Dripper, right? So this is the Origami Dripper. Is this working? Oh, it's not working yet. Whoops. One moment. I'll zoom in now. Oops. All right, very good. Okay, so this is the Origami Dripper. And the Origami Dripper, good morning, is, actually, it's become quickly a favored dripper for me. I mean, this is something I only got back in June. A year ago, I never even used one. So I've been enjoying using it these last few weeks, and I really have come to like it. Now, the interesting thing that I've heard from a number of people and seen it online and from you guys as well is using the Kalita 185 wave filter with the Origami. And I was like, that's just interesting. Like, when I think who was it Craig or Michael or somebody was mentioning it the other week, and they were like, oh yeah, it fits inside there. And I was like, it fits really, the 185? So evidently there are 20 ridges in here, right? 20 ridges, is that right? We start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And it fit. So it's supposed to have, I didn't realize it, but this actually also has 20 folds. So it really does fit essentially perfectly in the Origami. Now here's the interesting thing. This is designed for the wave, the Kalita wave, and I don't have a wave. I forgot to pull one. I don't even know where it is, but the wave is this round conical filter with a flat bottom that looks very much like this, right? And the idea behind Kalita making this rippled filter is that it's supposed to keep the edges from being flat against the walls of the rounded Kalita 185 or the Kalita wave, right? So it's supposed to it's supposed to like give separation between the paper and the wall so that it doesn't I guess the idea is always that it doesn't stick to the side walls and then it doesn't flow through the filter, it just flows to the bottom of the cone. And I think that the Origami's design, because the Origami filter, right, this is the actual filter from Origami, right? So you can see here they've got the design of the Origami here, but the filter itself is flat. All right, so here's the filter for the Origami. And good morning, Michael. Smell the Kalita paper filter after you wet it. It has a pretty strong smell that I taste in the coffee when not rinsing. Oh, okay. Okay, one more. But let's just go back to this for 1 second. So this is made flat, right? So the Origami makes this flat, and the ridges are supposed to keep the flat surface from the sides from the walls of the dripper. So there's got to be some reason these manufacturers are doing this, and I have to wonder, like, if by using this filter with this, sits it up against inside the little ridges, while it's cool, right? It certainly is kind of cool. It's cool. It's a cool idea and cool looking. The question is, does that defeat the intent of the manufacturer? All right. So Michael says we wet this. I forgot to turn the heat on. If we wet this and what would you say? If we wet it and smell, it's very small smell. Okay, let's see. That you taste. Okay, I'm not smelling anything there. So we'll give this a try. We'll give this a try and see. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this other 185 filter that's been sitting on the top of my little pouch of it. I got this pouch. I mean, you can tell by the age, like it looks kind of less than transparent, mainly because it's just been sitting around for the last couple of years. So we'll use this to be the wet. We'll give this a try and see. Now, in my testing, there's a video, an old video on, maybe it's on the Spro Coffee channel, but basically we were doing a big test of all these different paper filters, and I did not taste any flavor from the paper filter, from white paper filters. Non-bleach paper filters, the brown ones, there's definitely a paper taste, but we'll see, and we're going to find out. Craig says, I don't wet the wave filters, but I have the 5155s. Oh, all right. I'm not sure if there's a difference. The wave filter ripples doesn't smush all the way into origami. Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. Let's see, does it? Well, it kind of does, doesn't it? I mean, well, I guess it doesn't smush all the way in, but I wonder, like, does that? Well, we'll see. Well, does it defeat the intent of the manufacturer? But of course, as we all know, there's the intent of the manufacturer, and then there's what everybody else will do with their product. So, I'm sure there's a lot of things that have happened in coffee where the manufacturer did not intend that. Like, for example, let's say, like in my world, the whole thing with everything is falling with this portafilter, right? The intent of La Marzocco and all the manufacturers was not for us crazies to cut holes in them and take out the bottoms. But, whatever the intent may be, we will do otherwise. All right, the water's getting hot, so let's pour some out. We're going to dump that. Maybe. I'm not spinning that because I had a bad taste, but there could be a taste. I wonder if there's a difference in smell with this Kalita, this origami. Oh. There is a difference. This has a more crisper, cleaner aroma. This does have a little more papery aroma. So maybe there is something to be said about rinsing out the filter, the Kalita, before using it. Now that it's wet, it folds out completely to flat. If we want to do like a Chemex-y thing with it, we can fold it like this. Oh, look at that. Baby Chemex. Huh? Oh. Look at that. Not bad. Baby Chemex. There's a whole new market going to come out for this. A whole new market's going to be exploring the Baby Chemex filters. Maybe that's worth a video all by itself. I'll put that aside for now. And then there's a manufacturer's marketing claim for sure. Mark's back. What's going on, Mark? How's things in Norwich? It's actually been kind of rainy and cold, chilly here in Baltimore as well. Even though you might have seen on the news on Monday, it was very clear. It was very clear that day. Not so clear now, yesterday and today. All right, so let's see here. The water's nice and boiling. Yes, you heard it here first, Michael. You heard it first. Okay, so we're going to take this. We're going to put this in here. We're going to give it a try. Oh, before we need to do that, of course, we're going to have to grind some coffee. So let's get our grinder out here, get our scale going. We're going to use our favorite coffee here on the show, the House Nation. This is not the batch I roasted yesterday. We learned already that that's a bad idea. 24.5, that's all right. Back with our lovely Brazza Virtuoso. Still left in the same setting we used for our, oh yeah, I said we wanted to go back a click, right? Okay, one click back. Oh, Rusty's with us. What's going on, Rusty? How are you, man? Good to see you. It is the workhorse grinder. Still rolling well after so many years. And Keone's with us. What's going on, Keone? How are you, man? Good to see you. How is Salt Lake City? Were you able to visit Cafe de Bola yet or not yet? All right, so we're gonna. We're getting our Temu thing, the origami cap, the origami, and now the filter. And the nice thing, it does just, you drop it on, it will mostly, for the, well, not really, maybe not. I was going to say it really would just fall into place, but maybe I'd do a little bit of encouragement. All right, there is 24 grams of our house coffee. I'm going to level that out. Very nice, very nice. Our water, just pump that up one more time. I'm going to just make sure it's really boiling. It's not quite boiling, but soon. Keone says cold, not yesterday. I did 3 tattoos yesterday. Hopefully, oh, okay. So it's cold, and oh yeah, I guess it would be cold. It's cold here in Baltimore, so it has to be cold there. Oh, and Rusty wants to know what's the name of the attachment on the boom? Isato is correct. Isato here is correct. Yeah, they really got rid of this not too long ago because, sorry, it's all dusty. They integrated a lot of this whey technology into the newer versions of the grinders, I believe. And or maybe they didn't. I don't know. I haven't seen a new Virtuoso in quite a while. I'll try to find that out when I go to Chicago next week or 2 weeks from now. But these were really nice. They were a little bit pricey from what I remember. I don't recall the cost on those back in the day. I don't think they're available. If you're someone that wants one, I do have one in a box, brand new. That way that never sold because nobody buys these things. It's super esoteric. All right, so let's go back here. We're going to zero out our scale. That's going to go away, and then we're going to start. You know what? I want to see. Oh, yeah, we were started 22.8 grams. We've already dripped through a little bit. What I really need to do is get the technique of the owner of Chate Hato in Tokyo. That guy, he has this really meticulous method of pouring. And part of it that makes it difficult now for me is the height of the bar. Like his bar allows him to pour very low. This, because it's a regular standard American height bar, 42 inches, it's, I have to hold it pretty high. All right, so we're 44 seconds. I'm babbling a lot. So we're just going to raise our water level. And again, I do believe in very simple approaches to brewing. We're just keeping the coffee saturated for the brew time. It's falling a little. So 1 minute to 133. I guess I should zoom in, son. And we're seeing that some of the coffee gets into the ridges. I think maybe here we'll pour just a little bit of water just to keep them wet. To be honest with you, like I said, I don't really use the Kalita brewer very often. I mean, I have this 100-pack of filters that has never been completed. I probably had that for a good 8 years. Michael's asking, do you have video of the barista mentioned? I do not have, I don't really have great videos of him. When I was there, I was seated at the far end of the bar instead of the center where he normally stands. But he's got this, like, if you order this one particular coffee from him, it takes about 15 minutes to brew this pour over. And he's really sitting there for almost the entire time, really working his technique. There is a lot of videos online, so if you want to check it out, that's certainly there. Just Chate Hato. I will drop the spelling here. And it's in Shibuya. It's actually when you come out of Shibuya JR station to the right by the Hachiko statue. Like Hachiko, there's a Hachiko. You walk out of the station, Hachiko statue's over to your, when you're walking out to your left, and then the scramble crossing is kind of straight ahead. When you come out that way, you want to go the other way, the completely other side of Shibuya JR station, and then you walk up the first light, hang a left, walk down to the first block, turn right, and it's this really Chinese kind of Japanese looking shop, really old looking, like a house. Like I walked by it like twice before I figured out that was the place. All right, so I'm babbling. We're 3:33, 3:27. So we're not bad actually. Let me just if I wasn't talking so much, we should be right there. 3:50, 3:44. That should finish up pretty close. The grind size mark is actually fairly medium. It's actually it's the dead medium setting on the Virtuoso's settings, so it's actually right. So if you look here at the Virtuoso, it's actually right here in the center. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. That doesn't, honestly, it doesn't really mean too much. Ideally, this is espresso. This is fully coarse for French press. This is supposed to be medium for like pour over. The reality is that as the burrs wear, they actually will change, and so you may have to recalibrate, or it just won't be the same. So there's always, honestly, it hasn't changed that much over the last 15 years that I've had this, but that is the theory. And that is what we find with commercial grinders, that we will have to change the settings, at least the orientation of the dial, in order to match what setting we're looking for, right? So like on my compact R80, we can change the dial position relative to the burr spacing, right? So I can take this, whatever this burr spacing is, and I can make that either at the very far setting or the very close setting on the dial, and then readjust it. So, but every grinder is different. Every grinder works a little bit differently, and it's not always apples to apples. All right, so here's our, and I think also one thing is that I find is that when once you brew, a lot of the fines will flow to the bottom, so it kind of looks more, what we say, more coarse than it was, or, well, I guess it's not that it was. It still is coarse. It's always this. It's not like the brewing of the water has changed the size of the particulate, but something along that line. Something along that line, right? All right, let's have a look at our. And Rusty says that I have a Virtuoso, and my mom in Hawaii has one as well. The settings do not match up. You have to adjust. Yeah, see, exactly. And I'm telling you this because that's been my experience. I haven't actually compared different Virtuosos, but like I said, like we talked about in different episodes, is that we're always chasing the grind setting, right? So, like for example, what was it? 3 days ago, we were at one setting, which probably one click past the 20 mark. We brewed with that, and I was like, oh, that's a little bit fast. So yesterday we went to the, I think we were 3 clicks forward, and then we went back 1 click yesterday, or not yesterday, but 2 days ago when we were brewing with the Mocha Master. And then I think with the Mocha Master, I was saying maybe we'll go back 1 more click, which is what we did today. And so that kind of brought us right, at least for this brewing, it brought us kind of right to the right timing, right? And like I say, it's always about, I think it breaks down to, there's our elixir here. It breaks down to the quantity of water to coffee, as well as the temperature of the water and exposure time of the water to coffee. And then from there, and so what you want, what the idea is that you're trying to find the magic ingredient. So in this particular case, we're talking 24 grams of coffee to 350 milliliters of water. We want that water to be about 195 to 200 degrees. And we want to have the exposure time of the water to the coffee 3.5 to 4 minutes. Right? That should give us an ideal brewing, an ideal brew. Once you've locked it, once you've got those variables under control, right? So we measure this, we measure the water, we boil and keep the water at a certain temperature. Those are all kind of like locked in. Those are all kind of like controlled. The one that we're not controlling is the grind. And so as you brew with it, this is where you make your adjustments in your brew, right? Now, in pour-over brewing, of course, your technique is going to matter as well. There's more to introduce into it. There's more complexities to drive you bananas. But let's have a taste. Oh, different extraction. The coffee feels brighter, a little more vibrant. Now, a little more like citrus notes coming through. Now, my question is like, there is a little bit of that, what I would consider to be a papery taste. There is a little bit of that kind of like on the finish. Could that be from the filter? Possibly. Oh, we didn't wet the filter this time, right? That's right. Huh. Interesting. Let's do another one. Let's see what this rinsed filter. We'll put this there. Do we have enough water? I think we have enough water to go another round. We're going to put this as our control, just to see what the difference may be, especially since the coffee is going to be the same and the grinder position should be the same. It should give us fairly consistent results, somewhat consistent results, theoretical consistent results. Come on. We did 24.5 last time, right? As you can see here, it doesn't respond to minor changes very quickly. So kind of wanted to push that along. And let's see, what are we going to do for the... Let's get our filter here. We're going to take our pre-rinse filter. Now this one, you know what? Let's do this. We'll do a fresh one. And then we will rinse. Gosh, we might be out of water. Can't reuse that water, otherwise we will have totally negated our testing. Interesting. It doesn't sit as well now that we're, see, there's a little bit of ring here. I'm not sure why. We're going to grind. Michael says, I can't get it to paper. I can't get the paper taste the way completely. Okay. I'm just going to give a little conjecture on this that perhaps we just need to put a lot more water through it. I don't even know if I have enough water to fill this, to finish the brew, but we're going to go for it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, here's our grind again. I do think that perhaps, I'm not saying you haven't rinsed it enough. You probably have, but I wonder though if we really give it thorough rinsing. Like I think a lot of times people just kind of wet the filters when they're brewing. They don't really like give it a thorough to do, I think. Whoops. Okay, that's not what I wanted. And Mark asks, how long do you wet the paper for? Oh, you're asking Michael. Okay. I leave mine for about 3 minutes before, and I add the coffee ground. Oh, so does that mean, Mark, you're soaking the filter or just running it? You just run some water through it, wait 3 minutes, and then start. Which we could do. Okay, let's get that all set up here. Back to 0. Yeah, try the 3 minutes and let us know what you think. I'm just power heating this last bit of water. Now this is an interesting question about the paper filter for this Kalita filter and the flavor that it may leave. All right. Oh, okay. I hope this is enough. Hope it's enough. All right, here we go. Starting again. We're going to go to 75 grams for our initial pour. We're going to wait for about 30 seconds. Ooh, not even. And TJ says he always rinses filters. I normally am not a big filter rinsing advocate for bleach filters, should I say. A couple of years back, we did a two-video series where we tasted a whole bunch of these filters. And in my experience, the white filters did not leave any taste. However, the non-bleached, the brown ones did. They left very serious paper taste residue. Now, I mean, I will wet filters once in a while because, sometimes you just need it to help it to stick to the brewing devices, or let's say like the AirPress, you kind of want that to stick in the little lock mechanism, especially if you're doing inverted. But, if you find it helpful and enjoyable, there's nothing wrong with that. So 122, 181, we're looking to be around 200, right around the 2-minute mark. Maybe I'm pouring a little bit faster than I did last time. Yeah, see, we're a little bit on the fast side, I think. Oh, okay. Mark runs the water to rinse the paper, then leave it to sit. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Nice. What we did for the test was we took the filters, put them in cupping cups which are 9 ounces, filled them with hot water, let them steep for 4 minutes, pulled the filters, and then tasted the water to see what kind of residue or flavor was infused into the water, to see that if the paper filters would give an additional flavor to the coffee. Now, like I said, with our last brew with this, we had I sensed a little bit of paperiness at the finish. Now, of course, I can't say that I'm not being led in that thinking. That's one thing that you have to kind of keep in mind. And when you're tasting stuff and with people, is that sometimes there could be suggestions that are made that guide what you taste, what you sense. So that's something like in the professional circles that we work with, or we work towards avoiding. So, for example, if we're in a critical cupping situation, it's always done in silence, because we're trying to make sure that we're not influencing the scoring or the interpretation of the coffee for other people or by other people. All right, 342. This is definitely a little bit more water poured than we did last time. Okay, we have enough water. Great. All right, looks like that's more or less, still a little bit more to pour out, I think. Oh, that's good. All right, very nice, very nice. So 350. 350 for 350 milliliters of water. It's a pretty round number. We'll go around, a little dancing. All right, let's pour it out. All right, so this is our second one. This is our first. So this is the unrinsed filter paper. This is the rinsed. So let's have a taste of the rinsed. See that? Oh, let's see. There is a difference. And I don't know if there's a paperiness difference. Actually, the difference is, remember how we talked about this particular brew? Had a real nice, had a brightness. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. There is a brightness, but that last sip, as it was coming to the back of the throat or back of the palate, after I'd swallowed and the flavor was coming to the back of the palate, there was a little bit of paperiness to it. Which is not quite, there's a sensation of it in this newer brew, but it's definitely not as dominant as in this one. Oh, yeah. Like there's this one's different also in that it has a little more brighter notes to it, a little bit more of that citrusy note that we noted earlier. That's diminished a little bit more. Yeah, there is something. Maybe a little bit cleaner. There might be something there, Michael. There might be something. There might be some kind of paperiness to it. I don't know. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. Craig, I know you use I remember you saying that you use these filters. Any thoughts on that experience, having a papery taste imparted by the filter to the coffee? Oh, when we first started, I was really enjoying this. Now I'm not enjoying it as much. Like there's definitely a dryness now on the finish. I don't know. Maybe if you're using the Origami, you should just stick with the Origami filters, or maybe just continue using modified Kalita number 4 filters. really, these are kind of like my go-to filters. And so like there's for flat bottom cones, right? That's what they're designed for. Or if you want to go with like a conical cone, you just kind of do this. And it's an oblong cone, right? It's not a perfect cone. It's a little bit odd shaped, right? You have a little bit of a flare to it. But this works fantastic. And these Melita style, these are really just generic Melita paper filters. We get them in like packs of 4. They come in they come packed in packs of 200, but they actually come packaged as 400 each. But these are great, really nice, really clean. This so far has been clean. That we at least the drinks that we've been making over the show, these origamis have been clean. I do like the pattern that we see in these origamis. You can kind of see if the camera will focus. There we go. So you can kind of see there is a ripple, a pattern to it. Anyway. All right. I guess that's yeah, I think there could be. So is the Kalita 185 a good choice for the origami? Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I would have to say no. I wouldn't do it. Like, especially now, if we have this issue where these Kalita 185s are indeed imparting a flavor, a paper flavor to your beverage, then is it worth it? It's not really worth it. Then I can't say that it'd be worth it. And maybe people should be if this is the case, maybe people should be rethinking their use of these at all, because it just makes it more complex, right? Like you can rinse it. I'm going to presume we can rinse it out, but does that? Do you really need to have extra work just to make a cup of coffee? Shouldn't it just be nice and clean? This is a surprising twist that I wasn't expecting, but something maybe to try out more. Maybe I'll have to find this wave and see where it goes with this filter here. The comparisons between origami and wave versus brewers, though. Oh, well, today when we're talking about using this in the origami, I don't know what other guys are talking about. I mean, meaning that I haven't really been following the other discussions about it, but I don't know the whole thing, wave versus. But to talk about that wave versus origami, or V60 versus wave, or V60 versus B house, there's so many different. I don't know. I used a lot of them. I haven't used them all. Like I haven't used the April. I haven't used the Tricolate and all these newer ones. I haven't used, but I mean, I've used quite a lot of different brewers, and I don't know. I mean, yes, there is the different brewing methods will have an impact on the actual flavor of the coffee. Like for example, what I mean by that is that like you can have fried chicken, you can have roasted chicken, you can have boiled chicken, you can have Hainanese chicken, you can have all kinds of chicken. It doesn't make it taste like beef. It just has a different representation of chicken. Whereas all of these different brew methods, yes, they're all really nice. They'll make coffee, right? Let's say you buy this. Let's say you buy this coffee. They're all going to give you representations of the coffee. There'll be differences between the brews, but they're not going to make this into a geisha, right? And so I don't know. I know a lot of the thought is out there to try to really figure out what's the best coffee brewer. What's the best coffee brewer is what you have. So if you just spend a little bit of money, brewer V60, origami, wave, Kalita, whatever you have, I think can work very, very well. And I do think it goes back again to the coffee itself. So if you're buying nice quality coffee, you're going to have really enjoyable results. Now, the more geeky you get into it, the more you're going to want to delve into it. But I don't know. I try not to encourage too much of that because, I think sometimes if you get too into something, it pulls you away from that enjoyment factor. And, at the end of the day, I'm actually a hedonist at heart. I just want to enjoy the experience rather than have to worry too much technically about the experience. Right? I don't know. Craig says that in the sense that a wave filter brew is going to taste different for origami filter brew. Oh, I get that. And I wonder, let's say it's kind of like that whole thing with like Chemex, right? Chemex and everything else, meaning that you have the Chemex, and then you have all these filters. Or I don't know all these, but different companies over the years have made different like metal filters for the Chemex. Um, People will say, "Well, can I put this kind of filter in a Chemex?" Sure, you could put that in there, but it's not a Chemex because the Chemex, the Chemex is the filter, right? That provides the experience. So I wonder, like, if you wanted the Kalita Wave experience, would this in Origami give you the same experience? Maybe not, because of course the Kalita has that flat bottom that has the 3 holes, so the flow is more restricted than it is the Origami. But is one better than the other? I don't know. Well, I don't know. 4 7/8. I got it. I got it. That's what she said. That's what she said. Oh yeah. Anyway, whatever. As long as you're enjoying it, and even if you're like super into the technical part, and you're like geeking out over like, is this better than the Hario, or should I buy more Harios? As long as you're enjoying it, that's really the most important part. And speaking of enjoyment, I gotta say I'm enjoying this one less. And this one, I thought when we first brewed it was really nice. Like I was like, oh, that turned out, that one click adjustment really made a big difference. I don't know. All right. Well, wow, 42 minutes already. We're almost as long as yesterday, and I was roasting coffee. This just means this just shows you how long-winded I can be. Anyway, but I guess we'll be back again tomorrow. Tonight is Thursday, so tonight is our Ono Live Coffee and Cigars live stream starting at 8 p.m. on the Ono Live channel. So if you have the time, you want to hang out and talk a little bit more about coffee, and watch me talk about cigars, come and join us at the boys at the hangout at 8 p.m. Starting at 8 p.m. Tonight's cigar, I haven't decided yet. I have actually, what I really need to do is like set up. I have a bunch of them that are ready to go. I just have to determine the order and put them in the calendar. I've just been like lazy to do that. All right, so we're gonna head out. Mom, hope you have a great one. Hope Ramadan is going well for you. And Craig won't be at the live stream tonight. Oh, that's all right. We'll be sad to see you not there. We'll be sad to see you, but at least thanks for letting me know. I'll let the guys know. A rinse convert? Well, no, I mean, I haven't changed my stance on it. Maybe for this one, we might need to rinse. All right, so that's good. Keone, always thank you very much. Have a great one. If you do end up going to Cafe de Bola, tell John I said hello. And I'll be there in a couple weeks. All right, so hope you have a great one out there. Until next time, till tomorrow or tonight if you're around, have a great one.